Well, I've gotten a lot of feedback from that night. I would have rather given a bad speech about a good outcome than a good speech about a bad outcome, but you take what you can get. I will say that it feels pretty amazing to be for the public, using a microphone, with no Trump supporter to my left or my right. That's just amazing. Hallelujah. Oh, you think you had a tough 18 months. But I'm not going to BS you. We have a lot of fighters in this room. Nobody better or more true, and nobody has a more true friend in the world than Leo Gerard. Give him a round of applause. We've been together a long time. I'm going to shock some of the interns. A lot of times when people give these speeches and they say, so-and-so's my good friend, they're bullshitting. It's not true. But Leo's my actual friend. He's my actual friend. And been there with me through the good and the bad. And this is bad. This is bad. And it's going to get worse before it gets better. And it's not going to get better on its own. And so I think it's very important in a room of people like this to be pretty sober, to try to give you the autopsy as best I can give it, so you can prepare yourselves. This man, he built a little hate army, and he took over our government. We're going to build a massive love army and take it back. Trust me on that. Trust me on that. That's coming. That's coming. And I'll talk about how we do that at the end. But I'm going to be very brutally honest with you guys. In June, I predicted Donald Trump's victory. In June, I was begging mainstream Democrats to listen. In June, I got so frustrated, I posted a video with MoveOn.org, literally laying out what I'm going to lay out to you now, how he won in June, even down to the states in the industrial heartland, even down to the demographics, even down to his social media strategy. This was all knowable in June. I had no pollster. No offense to any of you guys. I had no focus group. I had no big data operation. I didn't charge the Democratic Party millions of dollars in consulting fees. But I go all over my country. And I speak in little towns. And it was obvious to me that there was a rumbling sound in the country. And it was not a Beyonce song. First of all, we're in this age of rebellions. The rebels are on the rise, and the establishment is on the ropes. In our country, Obama was in some ways a rebellion. And then you had the Tea Party rebellion right after that. And then you had the Occupy rebellion. And then you had Black Lives Matter. And then you had Sanders, you had Trump. It's very clear that ordinary people are done. They're sick of it. They're not having it anymore. And in my country, what people have seen is a bipartisan elite consensus that every single time is wrong. I don't mean sometimes wrong. I don't mean now and again a little off. Bipartisan consensus for 30 years. These trade deals, raw and ugly, would be great for everybody. Wrong. Bipartisan consensus, deregulate the banks. Both parties said the most oppressed people in America, Wall Street bankers. Oh my God, free them, free them. They're just being tied up and tied down. Let the bankers go. Wrong. In my country, build prisons from coast to coast. Both political parties, mass incarceration parties, putting poor people in jail for doing drugs that some of you guys did this weekend. Oh, I said it. Don't raise your hand, but I said it. Both parties said lock up poor people from coast to coast. We have 5% of the world's population now and 25% of the world's prisoners. 1 out of every 4 people locked up anywhere on planet Earth are locked up in the United States, in the land of the free. Disproportionately African American, Latino, and almost all poor. Supposed to make America better. It's destroyed families. It's destroyed neighborhoods. Both parties for it. Wrong. Both parties got us into these dumb wars. Both parties. Yeah, we're going to go into these stupid wars that we haven't been able to get out of effectively. And now we're out of them, and things are worse than before. Both parties, wrong. And both parties said, Trump can't win. So I thought to myself, he's in there. He's in there. Because these guys are wrong on everything. Because they are totally detached from ordinary people. 3 things. Number 1, he's going to gaff himself out of this election. My God, he's going to self-destruct. Can you believe this guy? He keeps saying these crazy, outrageous things. He's finished. He's breaking the rules. Oh my God. Here's the problem in my country. The elites who drive the parties, the donors who drive the parties, live on the coasts. And they listen to NPR. They have no idea how the actual media consumption works in the country. This happens all the time. It's not anything new. FDR, totally underestimated, totally looked down on, but he understood radio, and he became a dominant figure. JFK, totally underestimated, totally looked down on, but he understood television, became a dominant figure. Barack Obama, totally underestimated, totally almost laughed at when he first started. But he understood the internet, and he understood you could raise money online. That's no big deal now. It was huge. And you could have viral videos. And he became a dominant figure. This is the era of social media and reality television. And in that era, Trump is the underestimated, invincible candidate. Because the rules are different. Saying outrageous stuff on Twitter doesn't get you fewer followers. Being the villain on a reality television show doesn't get you fewer viewers. It makes you the star. But nobody on the coast watches the Real Housewives of whatever town. So they had no idea that all the stuff he was doing is the stuff that actually follows the rules of the new media system. See, we in the elite media thought that Donald Trump had left the world of entertainment and climbed over the barrier into the world of politics. No. He pulled the world of politics over the wall into the world of entertainment and reality television. And now we're all stuck in his show, and it's a nightmare. That's what happened. Now, if you are a reasonably sensitive third grader, you could explain this quite easily in June. But if you're an elite party person, you have your data, and your wife is beginning to worry about your relationship with your data because you love your data so much. But your modeling is only as good as your assumptions. If your assumptions have nothing to do with ordinary people. These people literally in my party decided to model turnout for 2016 on 2012, where the Republicans had the most boring candidate ever born. The Republicans ran a jar of mayonnaise with a tie on, Mitt Romney. And we ran Barack Obama. Now, I can guarantee you, just based on those facts, again, I'm not a smart person, I don't have any mathematical genius, but that's not the model for this election. And so, off to futility. And what did we do? Democrats in our country put $1 billion in a barrel and set it on fire. That was our election strategy. Pollsters, data people, ad makers who created ads that were so brilliant that all they did was normalize Trump. If you're in the United States, and I hope you will still come visit, we need the encouragement. If you're watching television, all the news is Trump, 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 and then we'll be back after these messages. Then some medicine that seems like it's going to kill you, which I'm not sure why anyone would ever buy. And then Hillary's ads, so showing Trump doing terrible things. And another ad showing Trump doing terrible things. Another ad doing Trump and terrible and Trump. And it normalized it. After a while, I was like, yeah, guess what? Trump does terrible things. Why are you spending $500 million telling us that? It's on the news every day. So they take $1 billion, put it in a garbage can, set it on fire. But what they don't tell you, and what they won't admit, and what we're going to challenge them on as we reorganize this party, is that this so-called demographic firewall, which is basically black people, they gave pennies to. They told me to my face they didn't have to invest in Latino organizing because Trump was going to be the best organizer for Democrats when it came to Latinos. So they could just keep giving money to the consultants. And Voto Latino, the most important millennial-focused electoral effort, ran out of money registering Latino voters. people were screaming out of black communities in North Carolina, we need more money. And they said, no, our data shows, our model shows that we're fine. And so you have a party that relies on the black community giving not 50% of our vote to Democrats, not 60, not 70, not 80, not 90. 92 to 94% of African Americans have to show up in massive numbers and vote at that percentage for Democrats to have a chance to win. But we couldn't get money for turnout. Why? Because there was an elite group that thought all of those groups were just greedy. Have you ever heard of the word projection? There is a pattern. If you're an indigenous group, if you're a black group, if you're a Latino group, what are you going to do with those dollars? Let me see your proposal. Where are your deliverables? I don't know. Give them $5,000 and let's see. And then there's these consultants who, I hate to raise this, are usually not Latino, not black, not indigenous, who say, hey, we're swell guys. Say, give them millions. And there's no accountability. None of them got fired. This is a real problem. It's going to be a problem here as well. So number one, the elites that run our party and ran that campaign didn't understand the media environment. They didn't understand the demographic challenge of getting turnout and didn't invest in it. And number three, they didn't understand the industrial heartland. They took the workers for granted. It's not, oh, is it the white working class or is it people of color? It's like I say, yes! Which is it, Van? The white working class or people of color? Yes! The answer is yes. Both of them, and not these fat cat consultants that burn up money. If you push money down to real people and let them organize, you push money down to real people and empower them and inspire them and let them get out there and make the argument. You can't be beaten by anybody. You can't be beaten by anybody in the world. That's the lesson. That's the lesson. We have to turn to the people. Voters over donors. Voters over donors. Let's invest in real people's ability to fight for themselves and stand up for themselves and stand up for their neighbors. Because the reason that this whole thing worked is because folks are hurting and nobody's listening, and hurt people holler. And sometimes it sounds like Black Lives Matter, and sometimes it sounds like Bernie Sanders, and sometimes it sounds like Donald Trump. But hurt people holler, and we gotta listen to them. The people are hurting out there, and we're not doing enough. So, in closing, let me just talk about why I think that this Love Army, as shocked as you were to see that little tiny group of hate mongers mobilize so many people. And by the way, the vast majority of Donald Trump's voters were not voting for the worst of his agenda. Please don't believe that propaganda. The vast majority of his voters, if you look at the data, don't look at me, don't trust Donald Trump, don't think he has a good temperament, have real concerns about what he's going to do, but they were just sitting on a white-hot stove and they just couldn't take it anymore. And some of those veterans that voted for Trump will march with us if Trump attacks the Muslims. Trust me, if Trump goes after American Muslims, you've got veterans who will be in the street saying, I did not go out there and fight for this mistreatment of people. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. You have business owners who voted for Donald Trump, that if he goes and attacks all those young dreamers, those young immigrants who, trusting our government, turn their names in to say, let me be a part of the program that'll let me stay here and join the military and go to college and be a part of a country, the only country I've ever known. My mama brought me here when I was 1. She brought me here when I was 6 months old. Please let me stay and be a part of my own country. And they trusted our government. They turned those names into Barack Obama. And Obama has to give those names to Donald Trump. If Donald Trump attacks those young people, there will be business people, Republicans who will stand up against Trump. Don't believe that he has a mandate for the kind of horrific nonsense he's talking about. Don't believe that. We're a better country than that. Don't believe that. Don't believe that. So, but the reason you're going to have a love army is because when there's common pain, there can be common purpose. When there's common pain, there can be common purpose. The reason you're going to have a love army is because there are people in our country who are not a part of the elites on either side. The Democrats have a big problem with elitism. Not that every Democrat's an elitist, but you got a big, comfortable chair for the snobs, and everybody hates that. The Republicans got a big problem with bigotry. It's not that every Republican is a bigot, it's just that all the bigots are Republicans and it's obnoxious. And you gotta do something about that. You gotta do something about that. So, but somewhere between both of these foolish parties are ordinary people. You go to the Rust Belt, so-called, what I like to call the industrial heartland, and I learned that from Leo. You walk around there for a while, and you might vote for Donald Trump. You walk around there for a while. You imagine yourself 54 years old, white, heterosexual male, out of work for 4 years. Have a hard time going to church explaining to people what you're doing. Have a hard time looking your family in the eye, trying to explain to them why things are tough, why you can't find work. You get up in the morning, try to help your daughter, and drive her little child to nursery school. And you drive past strip mall after strip mall with no stores in them. You drive past Blockbuster Videos that have been sitting there empty for years. The chains have been rusted to the grate. Grass is growing up through the parking lot. And you remember when it was a good town. You remember when it was a good town, and you could be proud of your town and proud of your job. And people looked at you with respect. And you go home and have your good kid, the pride of your entire family, come home. Went off to college, made you proud, and they sit down and tell you, Daddy, you're a bigot. Daddy, you're a sexist. Daddy, you're a racist. And you go upstairs mad and hurt. And you cut on your TV. And somebody comes on and says, I'm going to make America great again. That's medicine, man. That goes right in here. The NPR people didn't come to help you. The NAACP didn't come to help you. Greenpeace didn't come to help you. NOW didn't come to help you. Nobody came to help you. Now, this man comes to help you, and all of them people are mad. Well, you didn't ask me for a date. You can't be mad I got somebody now. You didn't want me. You didn't hold me. You didn't love me. You didn't respect my pain. You called me the oppressor. Well, now I got somebody who at least understands me. Last time I went to jail, I'm among lefties, I can say that. Last time I went to jail, I wasn't marching with Black Lives Matter. I was marching with the Coal Miners Union. Because the fracking has made the price of natural gas, methane, so low that it's wiped out a lot of coal. They love to blame Obama for it, but it's the economics. And those coal companies declared bankruptcy. And then those coal companies, rather than doing the right thing, did the wrong thing, and they stole those coal miners' pensions. But I tell you, I felt the shame. No, I'm serious. Leo knows this story, and it is a shameful story. It is a shameful story. So these coal miners, who are America's heroes, who risk their lives and their lungs and their limbs every day to keep the lights turned on for you and me, who did 15 years, 20 years, 30 years going down those holes with only one promise, not good pay, but the promise of a good, secure retirement when their bodies were too broken and their lungs were too compromised to do it one more time, that at least their family would be taken care of with a good pension. And those coal companies stole those pensions. And I called every environmental leader in the country. I said, we got to go down there. If the coal companies were messing with spotted owls, we'd be down there. And we should be down there. And rightfully so, we should be down there. But you got human beings being hurt by the same companies, and they all had an excuse for not going down there. Shameful. And I went down there, and to show you how poorly raised I was, I got down there and they're marching to get their pensions back. And I'm coming as a big environmentalist from Oakland, and I'm going to be a part of the thing, and I gave my speech, and man, I tore it up. And now it's time to march, and I'm like, let's get our good chance together, Ain't no power like the power of the people, because the power of the people don't stop. Hey! They can't chant because their lungs are too compromised. So they're marching with their oxygen on one side and their wife on the other, holding their elbow. Big, strong, beautiful men with nothing. And nobody came. This is not about only racism and xenophobia. It's that. It's a judgment on that. But it's also a judgment on us and all the people we let down. The best in America did not show up in this election on either side. And that's the good news, because now the best of America is awake. This wasn't 2008 where everybody came out doing all the beautiful stuff and hope and change. It was a very different type of election. But now, those Muslim families that are afraid right now, afraid to wear the hijab, afraid to even say I'm Muslim, in a country based on religious freedom, are looking around to see, does anybody care? And people are reaching out by the droves saying, we want to stand with you. I've seen it. What can we do? We want to stand with you. We're not going to let you be by yourself. Those dreamers, people are coming out by the droves. What can I do? You're going to see the beauty of the human spirit rally now. And this time we're not going to be so stupid as to leave out anybody that's hurting. We need those conservative red state men, not just for their votes, but for their values, for their skills, for their dignity, for their decency. We need them. And they need us. And they need us. And I'm going to tell you this. You watch me. You watch us. We're going to put our hope against Donald Trump's fear. We're going to put our love against his hate. We're going to put our compassion against his cold heart. We're going to put our little safety pins against his barbed wire, and we're going to win. We're going to win. The Love Army is going to win. The Love Army is going to win. The Love Army is going to win. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.